Okay, my friends, I feel very called to do a pick a card reading with my Wandering Moon decks. So I'm going to put the two oracles aside, and this will be pile one, this and the Sun card. That's the original Wandering Moon Tarot. And then pile two is the Wandering Moon Midnight Edition, and that will be the Empress card. And for pile number three, it is the Cosmic Pink Pocket Edition of the Wandering Moon. Okay, so take a minute to pick your pile. And I don't know what the messages are. I just know when I pre-shuffled, these were the cards on the bottom. And so it felt meant to be. So we'll see what the messages are. Okay, I'm going to put these away and start with pile number one. I will timestamp these in the comments. Okay. The Sun, we are going to shuffle that back in to see what message we have for pile number one, please. Pile number one. What message do they most need to hear in this moment? Pile number one. And I will do my Celtic Cross because I just love that spread. I think it covers a lot of information. First one out is Six of Stars. Okay, there's definitely some karmic retribution in progress. It feels like, and this is the internal space, the very internal energy. And it is about getting paid back for something. Something is being put right or put into balance. What crosses that is Ace of Stars. That's new money paths. So that could be like some kind of feeling stuck in some kind of job or needing to make some kind of new start or start a new financial venture. Interesting. Interesting that came out with the six. Okay, the foundation is the Queen of Stars. Wow, we got a lot of star energy, which are pentacles in this deck. Wow, that's the embodiment of this very earthy financial aspect, very physical. This is literally like not just about new money and becoming unstuck or being paid back for something that you've been owed, but it's about like starting a new diet or workout regimen or doing something for yourself, investing in yourself in some way and really embodying that energy. Wow, okay. That's like mastering self-care. Okay, for the passing influence, the Magician. Okay, I do feel like you've been on this quest to find yourself, to find the spiritual, I want to say prowess unlocked beneath, but it also has been this quest of finding your power, this journey. It's interesting that I keep saying quest because that makes me think of like video games and like it's this very noble thing and it's also very medieval. So it feels like you've unlocked a lot of ancient knowledge within yourself. What's on your mind is death, which is actually rebirth. Death is the natural ending to a situation. So it's like this very transformative mindset. You literally don't think the same as you did such and such years ago. Like 12, 13 years, you're a completely different person than you were. You've gone through a huge transformation. And I feel like on some level, you've kind of like broken it down to the bare bones is what I'm hearing in my head. But it's more like you really dug into your shadow side to try to heal some of that woundedness so you didn't project it onto the world. It feels like you've done a lot of work on yourself. Near future is Two of Swords, needing to make a decision. It also feels like you literally could be giving yourself a headache with being stuck in indecision. There is a choice that needs to be made, and it's a very intuitive choice. It's not something that you're going to be able to think your way out of. You're going to have to listen to your intuition. You're going to have to trust yourself to make this decision and know that whatever choice you make is going to be the right choice. The way you see the situation, it's a lot of slow energy also. Three of Swords. I feel like you've really been digging into the things that have hurt you. You've really been trying to heal, undo, relax some of the emotional burdens that you've been carrying. But it also feels like on some level, no longer abandoning yourself, or like even setting yourself up for failure or continuing a toxic cycle. It feels like you've done a lot of work to undo the past programming and the things that have been hurting you. Other people see justice. I feel like you come off, there's a lot of, it feels like Libra energy, because this Two of Swords made me think of that, and then this Justice. It feels very much like you're the bridge. You are such a balanced force. People probably rely on you a lot. They feel like you are the moral compass. You are the moral compass. The emotions are Seven of Swords. I do feel like you've had a lot of trickster heroes in your life, and you've had to really learn to trust yourself. And that has taught you to start trying to trust other people and really listening to your discernment. It feels like people try to get close to you, but I don't think they can truly deal with the authenticity that you require of them. Like, because they want to be around you, but they don't realize the amount of work it takes to be who you are. They admire and look up to you, but they don't realize the amount of work it has taken you to be who you are. And they cannot hold up to that or live up to that. Five of Stars is the final outcome. Five of Stars is some kind of like disconnect between the financial and the spiritual. But it feels like you've been in this place of physical poverty mixed with spiritual wealth. And there's going to be something that you're going to be doing to close that gap. But it does involve this new money path, and it does involve making some sort of really hard decision. I don't necessarily know that it's a hard decision, but I feel like it's hard for you, and maybe you're a little bit stubborn. The overall is Three of Moons. Three of Moons is celebrating your differences. It's also about calling in your soul tribe. Sometimes it can be about third-party situations. So make sure that what you're committing to is committing to you. And like, let yourself shine. Let yourself be who you are authentically so that you can call in exactly the right people. Under that is Knight of Stars. I feel like there's some kind of new job offer incoming, or some kind of new investment opportunity, whether it's with a person or business or whatever. There's some kind of investment opportunity. But this is like, I hear primed. You're primed for this. This is what you've been healing for. This is what you've been gearing up for. This is what you've been getting ready for. But I do have this feeling that you're going to need to do it scared. You're going to have to do it scared. Okay, from the Wandering Moon, no, the Wandering Soul Oracle. What have we got to add to this reading? Okay, what message does pile number 1 most need to hear in this moment, please? Okay, so you got higher power, and on the bottom is illusion. Let me get my book for this. It's in 100 pieces and not in alphabetical order. So let me find higher power and illusion real quick. Take a minute to breathe. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my video. Higher power. There's higher power and illusion. I do feel like it is about getting in touch with your higher self. You're rewiring your frequency. That's an interesting way to say that, but there's some kind of reworking. Again, rewiring is oh, I must have skipped over illusion. Something is being rewired. And I do also kind of feel like it's going to be spiritual gifts that are being activated, but also like talents. And illusion. I feel like it's going to be about breaking through the illusions and really being brutally honest with yourself. Let's see what they say. Frequency is invisible to us until it is recorded in waves. It is a force which is emitted by everything in the universe. All things produce their own vibrational frequency. This means the entire universe is constantly and consistently moving about with an infinite amount of vibrational levels with endless ranges of frequency. You, as a being of higher consciousness, are entirely able to teach yourself to regulate your own frequency from low to high, high to low, however you wish. With time and practice, it is a force which is able to be in your complete control. This invisible language that we all speak wordlessly to one another is akin to the source power that binds us all. It also ties your spirit to the multitude of dimensions, worlds, and realms surrounding you, and the beings which reside in them. Being mindful of your vibrational output is not only caring for yourself, but caring for the collective. It is a way to take into consideration others who surround you. Just for today, concentrate upon the frequency you emit and gauge whether it is high or low in nature. Test yourself and see how you can alter it. Can you imagine the beauty and peace of a world where we all choose to live a life which radiates a high, pure frequency? And that really is it. That's the thing. People want to be on your vibe. They want to be in your energy, but they don't understand the amount of work it took for you to get here, to be able to fine tune your frequency and maintain equilibrium in a 3D matrix world full of illusions. You are such a highly spiritual being in a muggle ass world. Illusion says, we all live surrounded by facades and illusions. The point is to know what is truly real and what is not. To know that where you're placing your faith is into what is real and true. To do this, you need to lean upon your finely tuned instincts and listen to it when it's telling you that something or someone is simply a mask. However, there are illusions that you choose to believe, isn't there? Even when you know better, you may look at someone and think what a beautiful life they have, how perfect it all seems for them, and why are you denied that type of perfection? Deep down, you know the truth of the situation, so why are you choosing to deceive yourself? It's only when you face the reality of that illusion that you will be free from it. You deserve better than to allow yourself to fall for falsehood and then lie to yourself about it when your instincts question it. Most people only show you what they want you to see, what they wish the rest of their existence was like. Remind yourself of the things that they are choosing to not disclose to the world, the parts which are kept private. Those are the parts which are usually the most human in nature and the ones full of honesty. In a world saturated with photoshopped images and meticulously laid out social media posts, be an island of truth and authenticity. So yes, you're like this human X-ray machine. I mean, really, a human X-ray machine. You see right through the bullshit. And I feel like people cannot maintain their masks around you. Because again, being this close to your frequency, it like almost vibrates their mask right off of them. And that's why maybe sometimes they don't stick around. Okay. Let's get some, but I also, with that being said, I do feel like you are calling in this authentic investment. Knight of Wands under that, so wow, okay. It could be very adventurous, very creative, very passionate even. Like you're calling in your soul tribe, you're calling in your people, but you could potentially be calling in your person, because I feel like materially you've really gotten your shit together. But there is something heavy on your mind and some decision that needs to be made. And I feel like you're needing to choose yourself in some way, to recognize your absolute power and choose yourself. Oh, those came out fast. I am brave enough to speak my mind. I am focusing on the future. And I am not my mistakes. Yes, this is about believing in yourself enough, but staying focused on your goals and in really investing in yourself. Your past does not define you. Your scars show where you've been, but they do not dictate where you're going. Because honestly, you've done the work. You've got what it takes. I think you just got to get out of your head and know your worth. And have a hell of a lot of faith in spirit and the universe at large. Know that somehow it is all working in your favor. And I am believing in myself exactly. Become your own biggest cheerleader. And on the bottom, I am not seeking outside validation. And I'll split that on I am releasing any judgments I hold against myself. Break up with the bully in your head. Because you're meant to do something really great. And I think at one time in your life, there was a part of you that didn't think this thing was possible, this dream you hold. But the transformation is literally already underway. It's like peeling back the layers of the imposter syndrome and recognizing that you are precisely, uniquely qualified to live a happy life, to create the abundant life of your dreams. And that's going to be whatever that looks like for you specifically. Whether it's working for yourself or working for someone else or doing this or that, whatever it is. This is really knowing yourself, believing in yourself, actively investing in yourself. This is radical self-care. But there's some kind of new path or choice that you've been resisting. And there is power in your choice. But trust yourself to make the right choice, because whatever choice you make will be exactly the right one you were meant to make. Okay, I hope that made sense. I'm going to leave that there for pile 1. And clean this up and start on pile 2. Okay. Pile number 2, which was the Sun card and the Wandering Moon Midnight Edition. Did I say Sun card? I meant Empress card. It was the Empress card. Okay, let's see. What does pile 2 most need to hear? What does pile 2 most need to hear? Take a moment to breathe. Take a deep breath and breathe out. Every time you focus on your breath, even for just a minute, it brings you back to the here and now. And this is exactly where you're meant to be. What message do you most have for pile number 2, please? First one out is the full moon. Wow, okay. You've been literally going through a huge purge process within yourself, very internally. Like the internal purge has been real. You've let so much stuff go. I feel like you've released such huge burdens lately, especially emotional burdens. Crossing that is 2 of stars. There's something that's been a bit out of balance, and it does kind of feel like you've either ignored it and allowed it to become more out of balance, or you haven't understood or known exactly how to juggle this thing. I feel like you're the type of person that does everything themselves and you struggle to ask for help. You struggle, like hyper independence. And sometimes that comes from a lot of woundedness. But I think it's about learning when to ask for help. And even finding others who are seemingly doing what it is you wish to do. 8 of Moons is walking away from something. That's really interesting because you had the full moon. And the full moons are times for releasing. There's a keyhole here, so I wonder if there's going to be a key that shows up. Literally walking away from something that was keeping you out of balance. Something that was... It's like pulling you in 2 different directions so harshly that you almost felt like you snapped apart. That's kind of the imagery in my head. The passing influence is Ace of Stars. New money path, a new way of moving through the world. And I do feel like that came with releasing. There was a lot of emotional burdens I feel like you've been holding on to. And I would even say they were probably generational woundedness that was passed on, and you recognize that, you know what, this isn't mine to carry anymore. I've done the work I can do. Now it's time for me to move on, to seek my wish fulfillment. Let the bygones be bygones. You literally have learned a new way to move through the world. Completely different person than you used to be. Like, unrecognizable. On your mind is the Knight of Swords. That's a great place for that to be too, because it's a very mental card, but that's like taking mental action, taking the action, but it's also, it feels like there were false narratives that were implanted in your psyche in childhood, and you had been operating standard procedure on autopilot for so many years until you stopped them in their tracks, and you are in process of rewriting those narratives. That's part of breaking those generational curses and laying down those burdens. You're literally rewriting your program, your mental process. You're in the midst of mental transformation, but like you're saving yourself, because a negative mindset will keep you stuck for literally your whole life. And it's so difficult to pull yourself out of that, but that's exactly what you've been doing. The near future is the Sun. Okay, that was the card for pile number 1, so that's kind of cool that it came out. The Sun, some truth is going to be revealed. It's like you're about to have a major breakthrough. This very well could be because you're changing your mindset. I feel like you're doing things like you're not sabotaging yourself anymore. You're like actively doing things to help yourself. like you're your own therapist. There's some major breakthrough in the near future. Some truth that will be revealed. But I feel like you're also going to be in the spotlight in some way. There's going to be a light that shines on you. So maybe you're going to win an award or get a promotion or, you know, maybe have a huge glow up where the spotlight is on you. People are noticing you. The way you see the situation, I feel like this could even be about like potentially losing a bunch of weight, or like literally there's some physical burden. So there's this major physical glow up in progress. The way you see the situation is the star of the show, main character energy. The thing with the star is it's the calm after the storm. The illusions have been shattered. And now you're rewriting the narrative. You're rewriting your story. Other people see 9 of stars. You're so independent. Other people, they almost are like, how do you do it? Because it seems like you don't need anyone. You are so self-sufficient and so independent, and you really know how to invest in yourself and take care of yourself and prosper yourself. Like, people see that. Like, I feel like people are seeing that you're starting to take better care of yourself. Physically, yes, but mentally as well. Like, total body, mind, and soul, you are taking better care of yourself, and it is starting to show in a big way. Okay, I need 2 more. 1 for the emotional position and the final outcome, please, for pile number 2. Pile number 2, emotions of the situation is Ace of Moons. Yes, this is a new emotional cycle. Because again, you had to let go of a lot of emotional burdens that were handed down to you. The thing that just popped into my head was, don't ask me how I did it. I just did it and it was hard. Because that's the energy of this reading. Don't ask me how I did it. I just did it and it was hard. Because you really had to, override old, outdated programming, not just mentally, but emotionally. And that translated to this physical transformation that you're undergoing. And you're also creating new emotional cycles for yourself. And it is, again, about moving through the world in a new way. But it's also being more self-confident. And like really embodying yourself and literally being in your body. You're creating a lot of new things and new paths for yourself. It's like even when there was no way, you still made a way. Final outcome is Ace of Wands. Wow, that's literally the 3rd ace. That's so crazy. There could be a new relationship in the works. There could be some kind of incoming love affair or some kind of intimate offer. But it could also be very creative, and it could be like a passion project as well. I'm astounded by the amount of new beginnings you're creating for yourself. This is a huge transformation you've undergone. Like, you literally have let go of so much. The overall energy is 10 of stars. That's financial fulfillment, but it's also like really understanding on a fundamental level how to prosper yourself. Under that is 6 of Swords. Yes, that's walking away from negativity. You can't even really see it. Walking away from negativity. Moving away from the things that drag you down. really learning to love your life and, you know, perhaps create a life that you don't need a vacation from, a life that you're not desperate to escape. It's interesting that I said at the end there with the Ace of Wands, there could be a new potential relationship or a person. And then you've got this couple cuddled up underneath the stars. This is so much fulfillment and actual happiness, like real, true, genuine happiness. And you did it. You did it for you by leaving behind old mindsets and outdated narratives and habits that were hurting you. Don't ask me how I did it. I just did it and it was hard. Okay, what do we have from the Wandering Soul Oracle for pile number 2, please? Pile number 2, what do we have? Oh, there's the key. I was wondering if the key was going to come out with this deck. I love that so much. Because I was in the back of my head like, okay, there was no keys on any of those cards. Nice. I love it. I knew there was going to be a key. And the one on the bottom is Ancient Records. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. So you've literally, with all of the work that you've been doing, all of the... Okay. Okay. Let me get my thoughts together. It feels like it's also, again, the generational burden is coming through. You've broken some kind of chain. I feel like you've done more than you recognize you've done. Because you were just like doing this, you know, this healing thing to try to make yourself happier. But in the process, you are literally healing your family line. You are setting yourself free. And again, that goes along with these 3 aces here, these 3 new beginnings. Not to mention the 8 of Moons and the full moon card. Oh, there was Ancient Records. Okay, let me find Liberation. Ancient Records makes me feel like Akashic Records. So it makes me feel like you probably, I missed it again. You probably have very direct access to the Akashic Records, to the divine. And I feel like it's part of that. Maybe you meditate, but it is the self-awareness that is helping you connect with the multidimensional versions of yourself. Okay, Liberation, where are you? Have you set yourself free? Liberation. Okay. Well. Oh, okay. Okay. There it is, right there on the back. That's the, I love this deck so much, but that book did not hold up well at all. And it was never in any particular order, so it wouldn't do me any good to try to put it in order. Okay, so we've got Liberation. The key that intuitively you knew was coming. You knew that key was coming. You've unlocked something huge. There's a huge breakthrough at hand. Why are you waiting for someone or something to come along and save you, to provide you with the freedom you're so desperately seeking? You are your own liberator. You are the only one holding the keys, the only one with access to the lock. Stop waiting and start acting. And I will interject and say the wound was never your fault, but the healing was always your responsibility. It is time to show up for yourself and finally begin the process of saving yourself. There's a level of personal and spiritual oppression you feel, a certain type of captivity being experienced. Yes, there is always someone somewhere who will help you if you ask them. But in this situation, no one can help rescue you. This is something you must do on your own. Earlier, I was kind of getting, with this Knight of Swords especially, I was getting in my head Captain Save-A-Ho is retired. Like, you've already saved yourself. You're the only one ever worth saving, and that's what you're doing. That's what you've done. So now you're understanding you don't need to save anyone else. It was only ever yourself that you needed to save. It is time to be your own hero and declare to the universe that you deserve better as a sovereign soul. Unshackle yourself and feel the immense pride in knowing that you were able to rescue yourself. Then pass on your story and use it to provide others with the hope of being able to save themselves. Be the hero of your own life and become a source of inspiration to someone else. Someone needs to hear your story. That could be the key to help them unlock a new level within themselves the way you have. Your story needs to be heard. Ancient records. Prior to each incarnation, it is believed that our soul writes a script or a blueprint which describes in detail the events, occurrences, what you will do, what you will experience, the hardships you'll endure, the lessons you'll learn, the souls you will encounter. Therefore, all the good things and the bad things that happen are things which were included by you in this lifetime's blueprint. You are being called to understand your script and to move into more of an alignment with it. Instead of fighting the occurrences in your timeline and asking why, you can accept that these are the events which you yourself chose to go through. These circumstances are helping you to learn the lessons you wanted to explore during this lifetime for the purpose of the expansion of your soul and your consciousness. When you grow an understanding of your blueprint, you're able to gain a sense of clarity and appreciation for the events which occur, whether they are seen as good, bad, or in between. All events serve a purpose and were predestined by yourself prior to your incarnation. This concept alone can change many of your perceptions regarding life. Learning more about your blueprint and understanding it can help you move through this timeline with peace and self-love. So maybe you're really interested in your birth chart or your human design chart or even your numerology chart. But this is a deep level of self-awareness that you have been able to gain. And that has been the key to help you unshackle yourself from this generational burden. And I'm just going to say it's been this burden of unhappiness, of undeservedness. But you've broken those chains and created so many new beginnings for yourself. And you should be really, really, really proud of that because you did that. Nobody else did that for you. You did that. And you did what no one else in your family before you could do either. You don't even know your own strength. Okay. Let's see what the closing messages are. Okay. I am radiant. I am standing by my beliefs. I am aware of the strength my voice has. I did say your story needs to be told. People need to hear how you've overcome what you've overcome, how you've managed to claw your way out of the darkness and into the light. Your story will inspire so many others. I am a being who is whole. You are whole and complete all on your own. And I think when you realize, that's when you start manifesting from a place of abundance instead of a place of need or lack. And I think that's part of that mental shift that you went through, and even that emotional shift. I am more than my traumas. Yes. Yes, there's a lot of healing that's been done. And I think, again, it's getting to this point of letting bygones be bygones. You've done so much work. And now it's time to go out and live your life. To create new beginnings for yourself and really go be in it. Experience what you came here to experience. And don't let your fear stop you. And I am enough. You are deserving. You are enough. Exactly as you are. You don't have to, you can continue to heal if you want to, but you're at the point where now you just got to go live your life and trust that the healing you've done will, or has worked, or will continue to work, continue to shift, because it will. I mean, healing's not a one and done, but you've been in process. And I think at some point you have to trust that you're just simply not who you used to be. You're who you are now, and trust this version of you. This version of you who acts differently, who thinks differently. On the bottom it says, I am a being of wisdom. You are a very... I was just noticing those two look very similar. You are a very inspiring and wise person. Okay. And I split it on, I am voicing my truth. Yes, your story needs told. Speak it. Write it. Start a podcast. Start a video. Do something to get your story out there. People need to hear it. They need to hear how you overcame all these generational burdens by changing your mindset and creating new beginnings for yourself and believing in yourself and letting go of the burdens that you decided weren't yours to carry anymore. Understanding that you are so deserving and so worthy. I am a sovereign soul. You are the chain breaker of your family, of your generation. You are a way maker as well. You are a voice of a generation, and your voice needs to be heard. Okay, pile 2, I'm going to leave that there. I hope it made sense for you, and I'm going to clean this up and get ready for pile number 3. I appreciate you coming to my video, and I wish you all the love and prosperity in your future. Okay, pile 3, this High Priestess, the Cosmic Pink Pocket Edition. A little bit harder to shuffle because it's small, so I'm going to break it up. What message does pile number 3 most need to hear in this moment? What message does pile number 3 most need to hear in this moment, please? Okay, for the Cosmic Pink Tarot. Pile number 3, what message do we most need to hear, please? Pile number 3. What does pile number 3 most need to hear in this moment? Okay, we've got 7 of Swords. 7 of Swords is really so much about having this higher perspective, but a lot of people don't exactly know how to take that, and sometimes they attack you for that. But it's about you have learned to protect your peace. And it's about paying attention to the way people show up. Are they showing up looking for a fight? Or are they showing up looking for a safe space to lay their weapons down? So it's really about learning which battles are worth the fight. I think this, again, this is the card that is the very internal energy of this situation. And so it has been about, like, I would say the old you versus the new you. But it's also like these internal battles and figuring out which ones are worth the fight and which ones literally are not. I think with that comes this high level of self-acceptance. Not that you're not working on yourself, but there's a high level of self-acceptance and not looking at yourself as broken or wounded and just accepting this is who you are. This is what you're working on. This is your perspective. This is you. What crosses that for pile 3? Okay. Ace of Wands. Okay, this is choosing what calls to your heart. choosing what truly makes you happy. This is daring to venture on a new, exciting path. I feel like on some level, and maybe it's been in an effort to maintain your peace, that you've kind of denied yourself adventure in some ways. But I feel like this reading is probably going to call you to be more adventurous in your life, to live a little. The foundation is High Priestess. That's cool that that came out because that was the card. That's about this inner knowing, but it's also trusting the mysteries of life, knowing that you don't have it all figured out, but it will be revealed at the right time. And really leaning into that mystery. Again, there's this high level of acceptance. Acceptance of self, acceptance of life, acceptance of this inner knowing. But there has been something that you've been denying yourself. Maybe it's because you're a highly spiritual creature or being, and so there's some kind of earthly pleasure that you're denying yourself. But you have to understand you're a soul having a human experience. That means you're also a human. There is this dichotomy, and so it would be unfair to deny the human aspect of you because you are literally having a human experience. Yes, you're a soul being, but you're literally having a human experience. Passing influences, Page of Swords. That's the peace. That's the peace that you had to fight hell and high water for. And I feel like you have protected it fiercely. And I feel like you've kind of had to learn to rise above a lot of things and not get really involved and take them personal. And so there is kind of this distance that has been created. But I think in some ways that kind of puts you on a level of your own. Like you're on your own frequency. I feel like you have a really good internal balance. And as I say that, I feel like you've had to learn to fortify yourself, to really solidify your foundation, to know exactly who you are, so that other people and all their chaos and their, I want to say woundedness, but the word greed is actually coming to mind. So in all of that, not letting all of that from other people be projected onto you. That is fiercely protecting your peace. And I feel like that means that you probably came or grew up in chaos because you did have to protect your peace and you really became a safe space for yourself, but probably for others. And I think that's part of why it's been so important to learn discernment in who is, what's the word I'm looking for? I almost want to say worthy of having access to you and who is looking for something to destroy or damage. On your mind is Three of Stars. Three of Stars is creative work done for money. I feel like you're a very creative person. And that kind of makes sense with the wands there too. That's a lot of passion, a lot of inner fire and drive. Three of Stars, it feels like you have a specific gift, a specific creative talent. And when you share that with the world, you help them connect to source. That's what that feels like to me. But it also feels like you're in some ways being called out to show your creative side, to let your talents be seen by the world. Maybe there was a time in your past where you were condemned or criticized for certain gifts that you had, because I feel like there's been a lot of jealousy that you've had to deal with. But you are being asked to come out of your shell in some way, to come out of hiding and allow your creative talent to be seen and experienced by others. And there could literally be someone wanting to hire you or commission you for something. They want to work with you in some way. Near future for pile number 3, please. What is the near future for pile number 3? I wonder what your talent is. Is it music? Do you write music? Do you write songs? Do you write poems? Do you write? Do you paint? Do you draw? Do you crochet? What do you do? Near future. Okay. This feels like something has been taking a while. Like this has been building up to something. And like it will be eventually revealed, but it sure took a while. And that's Queen of Stars. Okay. Queen of Stars. I feel like that connects back to pile 1 because it was in this position. But this is literally... This is radical self-care. This is embodying, mastering the art of not just luxury, but longevity. Working really hard to create this happiness in your life. And it feels like once you really let this creative aspect of yourself be expressed, there's a lot of financial potential in that. Like whatever this artistic talent is, you could potentially make a lot of money with that. Oh, I threw it on the floor. The way you see the situation. Try to go slow so I didn't shake the camera too much. 6 of Wands. Yeah, you know you've overcome some shit. You know you have. I feel like all of the obstacles you've overcome, all of the difficulties that you've been through, you'll learn something from them. And you used that to make you a better person. I feel like you have a lot of grit, a lot of tenacity. Other people, what do they see? I also kind of feel like you don't give a lot away. You are a bit of an enigma to other people. Okay, what do other people see? Please and thank you. Pile number 3. Pile 3. These cards have really not been very forthcoming at all. This has been such a slow process. This has been a long road. A long road of learning to choose yourself, learning to trust your intuition and your inner knowingness, learning to use your gifts and also use them for financial gain. That could even go into past life stuff where you were persecuted for certain spiritual gifts you had. And so coming into this life, you really had to learn to unlock those and to recognize that it's safe to be who you really are. And in fact, that is what you are being called to do in this lifetime. Page of Stars. You are a transformative experience for other people. I feel like you change people just by interacting with them, by being yourself. You literally change people. I feel like you give them nuggets of wisdom that they carry with them the rest of their life. Like you are, I threw that one on the floor too. You are almost like your energy, your essence is a seed that is planted in them. And I would even say planted by the divine. You are a gift. You are a messenger specifically sent by God. Some people don't always recognize that. Interesting, as I'm talking about that the Devil card is what comes out in the emotional position. Again, it feels like you had to break away from a lot of chaos and confusion. I feel like you've been caught in like this toxic emotional cycle that you've had to really learn to break. It's interesting because as I'm looking at that, the Devil in the emotional position, I'm remembering this Ace of Wands and like how there's something you've been denying yourself. It's almost like your emotions are the devil. That's what makes you too human. And being too human is the devil. Let's like... I feel like you're very protective of yourself. Very protective of your emotions. I don't know if there's like some kind of, I guess I want to say emotional addiction, and I don't really know what I mean when I say that. But I feel like in some ways you have been holding yourself hostage. You're needing to set yourself free. You're needing to allow yourself the space to cut loose. You need to be the safe space for yourself that you are for others. Allow yourself to be emotionally messy or confused or whatever. And knowing that in that confusion, you're not going to be driven back to the past chaos that you escaped, because you have created a more solid foundation for yourself, and you are so connected with spirit. Like, your spirit team is not going to let you fail. They're not going to let you fall behind or get lost. But there is some kind of feeling you're needing to feel, needing to really feel your feelings, not hold yourself hostage, because you are human. And you are an emotional creature. And sometimes that's scary and confusing and messy. But that doesn't take away from the incredible intuition and connection you have. The final outcome, you got two of them, Queen of Wands and Knight of Swords. Queen of Wands, I like that that's there because it feels like you're embodying your creativity. You're showing up for yourself in some way. You're living your passion, living your truth. Knight of Swords, I would also say, like pile number 2, you probably need to tell your story as well. And I feel like that's going to be really hard for you because of how close you keep things to the vest. But I feel like it could potentially help a lot of people. There is some kind of incoming message. Some kind of incoming message you're going to receive. I don't know if you're going to hear from somebody or if it's going to be like some kind of spiritual download, or even like from some cosmic being, some kind of channeling event. But it feels like you're going to receive a very important message. And I feel like you are exactly the right person to deliver this message, to embody this truth. But there's some ways that you have been like repressing your emotions, needing to unbottle them. Overall energy is 10 of Moons. That's emotional happiness and fulfillment. That's really all the good feelings. Under that is King of Stars. Interesting, because you had Queen of Stars in the near future. So you're literally becoming the person you need to be to attract perhaps a divine counterpart, but to attract emotional fulfillment and happiness. You're on exactly the right track. You've protected your peace for a long time, and it has not been for nothing. But there are certain ways you're needing to let yourself loose, to let yourself experience the dichotomies of life. What do we have from the Wandering Soul Oracle for pile number 3, please? Pile number 3. One more shuffle. Pile number 3. Okay, what message does pile 3 need? Okay, so you got seeking, and the one on the bottom is consciousness. Let's see what this is about. Seeking and consciousness. A moment, please, while I look for these in my very organized book. There's consciousness, and there's seeking. That was much easier to find those than it was in the previous 2 piles. Interesting difference, because the rest of these cards were not as forthcoming. So, okay. Seeking says, you are a soul in a human body, residing in this realm of existence for the lifespan of the physical and biological vessel that was provided to you. Walking the path of this current human life is akin to journeying through a labyrinth. Life can be seen as a maze with twists, turns, and dead ends. In a maze, one is seeking to find the center of it and then finding their way out of it. In life, however, we are seeking to find our way through it with meaning and purpose. What are you choosing to seek during your time encapsulated within this body and on this planet? Recall upon past lives here on earth and in other dimensions regarding the labyrinths you have traveled before. Your soul does not forget any of its past pilgrimages. Use this past knowledge to better grasp the layout of the labyrinth that is being presented to you in this lifetime. Think and meditate on what it is you are seeking. Is it enlightenment? Is it answers to questions you have? Are you seeking happiness? Are you wanting to find sovereignty for yourself? Perhaps you're seeking something new, and perhaps you are continuing the work you began in another life. Interesting, because I did kind of mention earlier that you are a soul having a human experience, but it is also about what you seek is seeking you. And it does feel like this integration of lives, of knowledge. And again, there's spiritual gifts that you had in past lives that were locked up because you probably faced a lot of persecution for that. Okay. And consciousness. The human brain is something which is so incredibly complex that it may never be fully understood or mapped out. However, we do know that it physically houses our consciousness, subconscious, and superconscious. How far you travel into those inner worlds is up to you. Many people live an entire human lifetime and barely scratch the surface of their own potential of consciousness. Have you ever stopped to think how far you can go within, about what is waiting for you in there? Your subconscious wants to be explored. It leaves us hints and clues every single day in occurrences such as dreams, deja vu, daydreams, and the realizations made from time spent in meditation. Travel the depths of your own mind and find the hidden realms within. Your mind is the lock, and your will to wander through it is the key. All you need is within you, packed and filed away, awaiting you to begin the search. You have the ability to access long-forgotten memories, past lives, the time spent between lives, and where your soul has traveled previously. Journey inwards, piece together the scattered fragments of your soul. See how it changes you, how you see the world, and how you experience it. Okay, you have access to probably the Akashic records, but you have access to other lives, other versions of yourself that you've been. Meditation is going to be key, And I think it can help even preserve your peace. It can be a way to do that. And I feel like you probably already do that anyway. But I feel like this is about unlocking new layers within yourself in that meditation. But also, I feel like it's really getting clear about what your happily ever after looks like. Because the fact is, you're going to achieve that. So you've got to have an idea of what that looks like, because it is happening, babe. It is happening. Let's see what the final closing thoughts are from this. I don't even remember what this deck is called. It's just a paper deck that I printed out from the Wandering Moon. I think it was the Etsy store. So let's see. What messages do we have for pile 3, please? Pile number 3. What does pile 3 most need to hear? I am unique and do not compare myself to others. Your journey is your own. You're definitely different than most people. You're very, very unique, highly artistic and creative. I am mindful of how I spend my energy. Yes, I feel like that is part of protecting your peace, but recognizing that not everyone needs or deserves access to you. But I think you're like not prone to wasting your time on a bunch of dumb stuff. You're way more mindful of how precious your attention is and what it actually costs you. I am trusting my intuition, as you should be, as the High Priestess energy. You are highly intuitive, highly spiritual. And you know way more than you think you know. And you have access to unlock even deeper layers of knowledge within yourself. Like you literally could be psychic. And I'm setting goals and feeling pride when I accomplish them. You should be proud of yourself. And I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have goals. Again, know what your happiness looks like. What do you want to see achieved with your gifts and talents? What is your ideal life? Because you have the potential to manifest it. You just have to set your goals and celebrate yourself along the way. And I am the perfect person to do this work. You are uniquely qualified. Your gifts and talents are divine expressions. You're being called out for something, called up for something. Someone wants to work with you. Someone wants to commission you for something. They want to hire you for a creative project. I am a being of wisdom is on the bottom, and I cut it on I am embracing my spiritual awakening. Highly spiritual. I feel like you've probably went through multiple spiritual awakenings, and you are a being of wisdom. You have layers and layers that you have already uncovered, but there are more layers underneath. But I think your emotions are the key to unlocking those. There are certain things you've probably not allowed yourself to feel, perhaps. Your life has been your testimony. You are uniquely qualified. Not only to tell your story, but to give this message. I feel like you're a channel, some kind of channel. You have messages direct from spirit that you need to share with the collective. But when you open yourself up to the collective, it does come with a lot of really messy emotions and the potential to be hurt sometimes. I'm going to cut this again. I'm accepting of my emotions. Exactly. Exactly. Your emotions aren't the bad guy. You're human and it's okay. It's not always going to be so easy and peaceful and calm, even though you've worked really hard to make it that way. Opening up yourself to the collective is a messy process, and it will require you to be vulnerable. But like, you have messages inside of you that others could use. And I am creating my own reality. Get really clear about what your happily ever after looks like, because that's literally what you're in process of creating. But you have to dig into your emotions and allow yourself to feel and use those emotions to fuel this creativity, because you are creating something really great for yourself. I love you. You got this. You are so capable. Thank you.